Hello, good evening to all of you. My voice is audible. Please let me know. My voice is audible to you. Yes, good evening. So my voice is audible. Any one of you, please let me know. Yes, I will take it, no issues, but let me know my voice is audible to all of you. Please let me know. Okay. So yes, very good evening to all of you. So just actually, sorry, I want to take the session little bit early. Hello. Yes. So I want to take the session little bit early, but because of some work, I was not able to. So I have to take it on the timings which we have. So my voice is audible to all of you. Yes. Very good evening to all of you. I want to take it little bit longer today, but because of some work, I was not able to take it a little bit early. I know you all are waiting for me. So have I told you any type of homework to do? I told you anything or not? Please let me know. Just waiting for few more students to join, then we will start the session. So yes, today we have to do protein hormones and steroid hormones in detail today. Okay, no worries. So we will discuss the remaining part of the protein hormones and then we will start the steroid hormones. Getting my point? So yes, I hope you all have your syllabus. So if you have any query regarding the review paper, please let me know. Otherwise, we will start our today's class. So we have to start the hormones, protein hormones, and then we will start the steroid hormones. So please let me know if you have any query. Please let me know. If you have any query, please let me know. Otherwise, I will start the session. So shall I start now? If you have any queries regarding the review paper, you can let me know, or I will start the session. If you have sorry, how many references you have to read? No, you have to read at least 10 to 15 review papers. No need to read the references. Rather read 10 to 15 review papers. That is my point. So you have to I will share the presentations in the group. Just it will be complete today. Then I will share it in the group. Okay, no issues. I will share protein hormones and steroid hormones today. Let me complete it. Then I will share it in the group. Okay, no worries. My voice is audible. To let me know, or otherwise, please keep your earphones along with you because I am speaking very loudly. So shall we start now? Please let me know. Okay, okay. Thank. It's okay. So I'm not now just going to start the session. Mm, okay, I will share the previously. Okay, I didn't send you the nucleic acid PPTs. Maybe I forget. I will send it right now. I will send these PPTs, nucleic acids and central dogma and protein hormones and steroid hormones. We have to discuss it today. So after completion of these two PPTs, that means of protein hormones and steroid hormones, I will share both of these PPTs in group. Protein hormones as well as steroid hormones. So I will try. Okay, okay. I will send you these PPTs also day 1, day 2 and day 4 and day 5. So I will try to do day 4 and day 5 today so that tomorrow we will complete the disturbances, the hormonal disturbances and disturbances in the thyroid function. So shall we start now? We have to complete the protein hormones and even we have to discuss the steroid hormones today. Okay? Okay. So in the meantime, if you have any problem regarding the review paper, please let me know. I am just waiting 1 or 2 minutes more so that students will join. Otherwise, I will start the session. Please share the link in the group again so that all the students will join. Please share the link again. And also please like the videos. You are not liking my videos. Why you are not liking me? From tomorrow onwards, I will put my camera on and then I will see. I will try to share the knowledge as much as I can do. If you have any query, please let me know. Otherwise, I am not, now I am going to start the session. So my voice is audible. Please let me know. I am audible to all of you. I am audible to all of you. Please let me know. Please share the please share the link in the group, please. Okay. So today we have to start with the remaining part of the protein hormone and then we have to do the steroid hormones also. Let me share the PPT. Yeah. Yes, yesterday I gave you some homework. So I just asked you, you have to let me know about the functions of cortisol and this 1 to 5 dihydroxyvitamin D3. So please tell me, what is the function of cortisol? Any one of you, please let me know. Pooja has answered the question. Okay, any another one? Pooja, very good. Pooja, are you here? Pooja, are you here? So good. Praveen is also. Yeah. Cortisol is the primary hormone released by the adrenal gland. It helps in the release of milk, controls blood pressure, helps in maintaining the balance and the blood pressure. And the very important function of cortisol is to respond to the stress. The very important thing is this. So yes, all of, not all, but many of you has done it. The functions of cortisol. Yes, yes. It controls blood sugar level, it regulates metabolism, helps to reduce inflammation. Okay, so this is by Archana. So Archana, are you here right now? Yes, yes. Archana Chandran. Yes, Yudhika. Anamika, are you here? Anamika? Anamika, are you here? It helps to maintain the blood pressure and the body's anti-inflammatory processes. It helps to increase the body's metabolism of glucose. So Archana, are you here? Anamika? Yeah, yeah, okay. So yes, Merlin is here. And all of you have done this very, very nicely. Very good. Cortisol. Okay, good. So now just I am now just going to, yeah, it maintains the blood sugar level. Okay, very good, Radha. So now I am just going to start the remaining part which you left yesterday. So I am going to share it again. Yeah. So we have peptide hormones or we have the protein hormones. So this is the basically how the protein hormones they are synthesized and how they are released from the endoplasmic reticulum to the Golgi apparatus, and from the Golgi apparatus they are released into the extracellular space, and from the extracellular space it gets released into the blood vessels. So in some cases, the prohormone is secreted and converted in the extracellular fluid into the active hormone. So sometimes what happens, like here it is released as a prohormone. But sometimes what happens, that in the extracellular fluid, that is right here, this gets changes into the active hormone. An example is angiotensin is secreted by the liver and converted into active form by enzymes secreted by kidney and lung. So angiotensin is secreted by the liver and then it gets converted into a active form by the enzymes which are secreted by the kidney and lung. So these are the amine hormones. There are two groups of hormones derived from the amino acids. We have thyroid hormones and we have catecholamines. So we have to discuss thyroid hormones in detail, which basically consists of T3 and T4 hormones, and all the steroid hormones they are derived from these catecholamines. So the thyroid hormone we have to discuss it in detail, but I will just read this PPT also. So thyroid hormones are basically a double tyrosine with the critical incorporation of 3 or 4 iodine atoms. So thyroid hormone is produced by the thyroid gland and it is lipid soluble. So this thyroid hormone is lipid soluble in nature. So we have T3 and T4 hormones. So the thyroid hormones which are produced by thyroid gland is lipid soluble. Thyroid hormones are produced by modification of tyrosine residue contained in thyroglobulin, post-translationally modified to bind iodine, then proteolytically cleaved and released as T4 and T3. So it gets released as T4 and T3. T3 and T4, T3 and T4 binds to thyroxine binding globulin for transport into the blood. Then these T3 and T4 hormones are transported into the blood. So we have to study T3 and T4 hormones. And yes, these are all the steroid hormones. They are basically comes from or synthesized from or derived from these catecholamines. So we have another class of hormones which are known as amine hormones. Two or other amino acids are used for the synthesis of hormones. We have two important amino acids. We have tryptophan and we have glutamic acid, which are there in case of amine hormones. So tryptophan is the precursor of serotonin and the pineal hormone melatonin. So tryptophan is the main precursor for serotonin and melatonin. Now you have to give me the reply, the functioning of serotonin, melatonin, dopamine and histamine. These are four you can say chemicals or compounds. We have serotonin, we have melatonin, histamine and dopamine. So you have to let me know the functioning of these four hormones. So steroid hormones are derived from cholesterol. So steroid hormones are derived from cholesterol and differ only in the ring structure and side chains attached to it. So steroid hormones are basically lipid soluble. We have already done this before also. The steroid hormones are lipid soluble and protein hormones are insoluble, lipid insoluble. So these are the types of steroid hormones. We have glycocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, androgens, estrogens and progestrogens, which we have to discuss in detail but in the another PPT. This is again the same thing which we have done yesterday, that they are not packed in the vesicles, rather they are synthesized immediately and released immediately. They are derived from cholesterol and they are lipid soluble in nature. Okay, so we already discussed this before also. Yes, so we have peptide, we have steroids and thyroid hormones which are lipid soluble in nature, and the protein and epinephrine or amine hormones, they are and the epinephrine or the peptine, they are the water soluble then. So from here we have to start. So, a cell is a target because it has a specific receptor for the hormone. Yes, this is very important thing which we have to discuss, that how so the most hormones, they are circulated in. So we have to know one thing, that a cell is a target because it has a specific receptor for the hormone. Now we know that from the bloodstream, the signal is transported from cell A to cell B. But how? How it is recognized by the target? How it is recognized by the target? So most hormones circulate in the blood, coming into contact with essentially all cells. However, However, a given number of hormone usually affects only a limited number of cells, which are commonly known as target cells. So, the hormone will activate only the target cell. It will activate only the target cell. Also, there are so many cells which will be there, but it will activate only the target cell. A target cell responds to a hormone because it bears a receptor for that particular hormone. So if you are able to see here, this is the target cell which is specific for this hormone A. So the shape is, this is lock and key mechanism type, or you can say the receptors and the ligand, they will be matched equally. So these are the receptors which are present on the surface of the target cell. Similarly, if you will see here, this cell contains the receptors for both hormone A and even for hormone B. Getting my point? So this cell contains the receptors for both hormones A and B. So it will also receive hormone A and also receive hormone B. Getting my point? And here this cell contains only the receptors for hormone B. So by these receptors, the hormones will bind to the target cell. Getting my point? So with the help of these receptors, the hormones will bind to the target site. So we have to understand this thing only, that the cell or the target or target cell has a specific receptor for a particular hormone. Okay. Then after it we have hormones can be freely circulating, that is rapidly removed from the bloodstream, or they can bounce toward transport proteins also. So the hormones they can either freely circulate in the bloodstream, or they are rapidly removed from the bloodstream. So their hormones are generally they are free circulating in the bloodstream, but sometimes what happens, they are bound to the proteins also. So this is the mechanism of hormone action, that how the hormones act on a particular cell, how they are able to give the information to the another cell, and how the target cell is able to receive that particular information. So as we discussed before also, that target cell consists of receptors. So these target cells, they have a particular receptor which will bind with a particular hormone. So the cells have a receptor. Thyroid and steroid hormones cross the membrane and bind to receptors in the cytoplasm or the nucleus. So we have thyroid and steroid hormones cross the membrane and bind to receptors in the, this is the case in case of steroid hormones only. I will let you know it later on also, that these steroid and thyroid hormones, they are able to cross the cell membrane also. Otherwise, the receptors are present on the cell surface, so no hormone is allowed to pass. But these hormones, steroid and thyroid hormones, they pass through the surface, not the surface, they pass through the membrane and then binds to the receptors inside the cytoplasm or nucleus. So you have to keep this thing in mind, that protein receptors, they only bind on the outer surface, but thyroid and steroid hormones, they pass through the membrane and they will bind inside the nucleus. So if you will able to see here, I want to show you about steroid hormones basically. So generally what happens, this is a membrane on which we have receptors. So the hormones will bind to that particular receptor and the signal will be transmitted. Generally these things happen, like in case of insulin growth factors or prolactin and cytokinins also, the hormone will bind to the receptor and after it the signal will pass further. But in case of steroid hormones, they pass the membrane and they act on the nucleus basically. I want to show you steroid hormones. So this is how the hormones they bind to the protein receptor, by which we are able to activate the further processing inside the cell. So when this hormone it binds to the protein receptor, it activates adenylate cyclase. This adenylate cyclase further activates kinase, which open the ion channels and activates the enzymes. So by hormone protein interaction or hormone receptor interaction, we are able to activate adenylate cyclase, which will further activate kinase. These kinase then open the ion channels. So we have some examples of it. We have calcitonin, parathyroid hormone, glycagon. All these hormones act like dendrites. So here the activation of G protein activates activation in the case of when we have to increase or we have to open the ion channels. Now when we want to stop this process, what we have to do, instead of CAMP or instead of adenyl cyclase, we have to inhibit this adenyl cyclase, and by this the ion channels will get closed. Then another example is when hormones and receptor bind, it will activate further inside activities in the cell, which later on increases the calcium concentration. So if you are able to see here, the calcium is come as calcium come inside the cell. So by the activation of PLC, that is phospholipase C, we are able to activate the calcium channel. So these are the proteins and hormones activities. Similarly, in this case of tyrosine kinase, binding of the receptor protein. So first of all, the hormone will bind to the receptor. Then what happens? It will activate the further processes inside the cell. So these are the hormone effect on gene activity. Hormones effect on the gene activity. That these are the steroid hormones. Yes, I want to discuss this thing. Then instead of working on the membrane, like here we have the membrane on which receptors are present. Even here we have the phospholipid membrane on which receptors are present. This is the membrane on which receptors are present. But in case of steroid hormones, these hormones will directly pass the membrane. So steroid hormones directly pass the membrane, or they will work either on the cytoplasm or even inside the nucleus. So these hormones, if you are able to see here, they bind with the receptor in the cytoplasm, or they will bind in the receptor in the inside the nucleus. So when they will bind with the receptors, what will happen? Gene activation, transcription and mRNA translation and protein synthesis, all these affect the target cell. So instead of working on the outer membrane, they just comes inside the cytoplasm or even inside the nucleus. Similarly, thyroid hormone is not binding here on the membrane, rather it will pass inside the cytoplasm or even inside the nucleus and then perform its own activity. Are you able to get it? The steroid hormone and thyroid hormone. So they are not working on the membrane, rather they will pass inside, and inside then they will activate the target cell. After it, we have control of endocrine activity. So the concentration of hormone as seen by target cell is determined by three factors. So we have three factors along with us. What are those three factors? Rate of production, rate of delivery, rate of degradation and elimination. So control of hormone synthesis and release. There are some feedback systems. There are some positive and negative feedback systems which maintains and regulates the amount or the concentration of hormones. There are some stimuli which will be released which will enhance or decrease the activity of a particular hormone. Getting my point or not? So we have feedback system. The feedback system starts from the hypothalamus. It will pass the message to the anterior pituitary, which will pass it further to the particular gland or the target gland basically. So feedback loops are used extensively to regulate secretion of hormones in the hypothalamic pituitary axis. An important example of a negative feedback loop is seen in control of thyroid hormone secretion. So we have a feedback system. We will discuss it in detail. So what happened basically in feedback system? Like in case of endocrine glands, suppose in case of thyroid or any hormone, what will happen? This hypothalamus, it will release the hormone which is known as the releasing hormone. This hormone will further activate the pituitary and will stimulate the pituitary to release hormone number 2. So this hormone number 2 will act on the target area. Getting my point? So when this hormone is activates the target area, this target area then release another hormone which will stop its own production. So this hormone inhibits its own production. So this hormone gives negative feedback to the anterior pituitary. Similarly, this hormone gives feedback to the hypothalamus also to stop the release of releasing hormone. So this is the feedback system. When the target cell or target area by its own self stopping the production of that particular hormone. So this is the negative feedback. So one hormone, it will releasing hormone which will work on another area or another gland, which stimulate another hormone which will work on adrenal cortex. This cortex then release cortisol. This cortisol then inhibits the further production of cortisol. So it inhibits the production of cortisol again. So up to it, is it clear to all of you? Is it clear? Everything is clear? Yeah, dopamine is a happy hormone. Okay, good, good. Yes, serotonin is regulates to maintain the sleep and the mood. Up to it, is it clear to all of you? Please let me know. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. So we have feedback system which allow to stop its own self. So this cortisol is messaging the anterior pituitary and hypothalamus to stop the production of cortisol further. Then we have substrate hormone control. So glucose and insulin, as glucose increases, it stimulates the pancreas to secrete insulin. Now let me show you. This is again the feedback control, that how the concentration increase the stimulation of insulin, which increase the action of insulin on the target cells. But this will stop when the target cells we have enough production of insulin. What will happen? Then these target cell will give negative feedback to stop the plasma concentration or to stop the glucose concentration in the blood. So this is the feedback control of insulin by glucose concentration. This is again the feedback control. So this target gland it itself gives message to the hypothalamus as well as to the anterior pituitary to stop the release of releasing hormone or stimulating hormone. Now we have another thing which is circadian or chronotropic control. Yeah, this is another topic which is related to hormone basically. I will discuss this circadian clock in the when we will discuss the imbalances of hormones. Then we will discuss this clock also. Then after it we have hypothalamus. Now what hypothalamus function is? So it regulates the activity of the nervous and endocrine system. Highest level of endocrine control. It secretes regulatory hormones that control the anterior pituitary gland, regulates hormones at the posterior pituitary, exerts direct neural control over the endocrine cells of the adrenal medulla. So these are the functions of the hypothalamus. Yeah. Basically everything is controlled by this hypothalamus because hypothalamus is the one which gives message to the pituitary gland. So this hypothalamus activates the posterior lobe of pituitary gland which will release ADH and oxytocin. Okay. So when the posterior lobe gets activated, it will release ADH and oxytocin. Similarly, again these functioning of adrenal gland or secretion of epinephrine or norepinephrine is also under the control of hypothalamus. And even the anterior pituitary, the hormone secreted by the anterior lobe of pituitary gland is also under the control of hypothalamus. So, hypothalamus is located at the basal part of diasulfon lying below the thalamus. Split into two and right halves by the third ventricle, it has many neuroendocrine, behavior and autonomic functions, sexually dimorphic. So this is about the hypothalamus, which controls the pituitary gland, which controls the anterior lobe or the posterior lobe, controls the thyroid. Everything is controlled by the hypothalamus basically. So yes, this is the characteristics of hypothalamic releasing hormone. What the hypothalamic releasing hormone do? It helps in the secretion impulses, act on specific membrane receptors, transduce signals via second messengers, stimulate the release of stored pituitary glands, stimulate the synthesis of pituitary hormones. It stimulates hyperplasia and hypertrophy of the target cells, and it also regulates its own receptors. So these are the functions of the hypothalamus. After it we have pituitary gland. So I am just letting you know about little bit about every gland or the glands which are quite important. So up to now, is it clear to all of you? Please, if you have any query, let me know. So up to now, is it clear to all of you? Please let me know. Hello. it clear to all of you? So is it clear to all of you? Please let me know. Otherwise, I will complete it. Is it clear, Archana? Please let me know. Okay, okay. So after it, we have the another gland which is known as pituitary gland. So pituitary gland generally consists of two lobed organs that secrete 9 major hormones. So this pituitary gland, also known as hypophysis, is quite important. It consists of two lobes, posterior lobe and anterior lobe. So posterior lobe also known as neurohypophysis and anterior lobe is known as adenohypophysis. So yeah. So posterior lobe is known as neurohypophysis and anterior lobe is known as adenohypophysis. So we have adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. So adenohypophysis is made up of the glandular tissue and it synthesizes and secretes a number of hormones. So it synthesizes and secretes a number of hormones, adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis generally stores and release hormones from the hypothalamus. So please keep it in mind that hypothalamus, uh, please keep it in mind that neurohypophysis or you can say posterior lobe, it is in direct connection with the hypothalamus. It receives, stores and releases hormone directly from the hypothalamus. But anterior pituitary, the interior part or anterior lobe, it secretes a number of hormones. So this is the important difference between two. If you will be able to see here, so this is the hypothalamic neurons. It will control the anterior part as well as the posterior part. So this is anterior lobe and this is the posterior lobe. So what is the relationship between this pituitary and hypothalamic region? What is the relationship between them? So there is no direct neural contact with the hypothalamus. There is a vascular connection. The hypophyseal portal system consists of capillary, hypophyseal portal and secondary capillary. Oh yes. So this is the, if you are able to see here, these are the neurosecretory cells. This is the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus will directly control the posterior lobe as well as the anterior lobe also. This pituitary is not even hormone, but let me complete it now. Now the anterior lobe consists of different hormones. We have growth hormones, we have prolactin, we have follicle stimulating hormone, we have luteinizing hormone, we have thyroid stimulating hormone which are released from the anterior lobe. And from the posterior lobe we have oxytocin, we have vasopressin which will be released by the posterior lobe. So these are the hormones which are released by the anterior lobe, like we have luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, growth hormone, and in the case of posterior pituitary we have oxytocin and vasopressin. So this is anterior pituitary hormone and we have the posterior pituitary hormone also. So these are the hormones like follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, they are released by the anterior side of the pituitary. So is it clear to all of you? नहीं नहीं एमबीपीटी की क्लास नहीं है अंकिता, एमबीपीटी की क्लास शाम को ही होगी. It will be in the night only. Ankita, the class of ambiguity will be in the night only. So is it clear to all of you? Okay, so we have just discussed about only uh, the hormones which are there, but the very important hormone. We have thyroid hormone, we have follicle stimulating hormone, the hormones which are secreted from the anterior and the posterior lobe of pituitary. But we will discuss it in much detail also. Have you decided your topic for the review paper? Please let me know. Have you decided the topics or not? For the review paper, have you decided the topic or not? Please let me know. Have you decided the topic for the review paper? Any one of you? It's not buffering from my side, Sadhan. I will share it in the group. I told you very early. But let me complete it now. Then I will share. So we have right now 144 slides and we are on 78. So I will share it in the group. No issues, no worries. I will share it in the group. Okay. Otherwise, I think today there is no buffering. Is there any buffering? Any one of you, please let me know. Is there any buffering today? If there is any buffering, please let me know. I don't think so today is any buffering. Yes, yes, Koshali, I know you send me the review topic. I know. I will mail you as soon as possible. Okay. So I will send the PPTs, but let me complete it. Then I will send it. Okay. No issues. No issues at all. I will send it. Let me complete it. Then I will send. So let me complete it. Then yeah. So basically these all are the hormones which are secreted by the pituitary, either by anterior side or by the anterior pituitary or by the posterior pituitary. So these all are the hormones which are secreted by the pituitary gland. So pituitary gland has two lobes or two parts, anterior lobe and posterior lobe. So this is the hypothalamic pituitary portal system. This is the hypothalamic pituitary portal system, in which the pituitary gland is under the control of hypothalamus. So from this hypothalamus there will be the release of hormones which will control anterior as well as posterior pituitary. Getting my point? And these are the cells, or these are the hormones like follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, prolactin, growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone. These all hormones, they are released from the anterior pituitary. So this is the posterior side, and the posterior side release oxytocin and vasopressin. We will discuss the functioning of all these hormones in detail. So we have luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, growth hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, oxytocin and vasopressin. So these all hormones are released from the pituitary gland. Although pituitary is not in your syllabus, but we will discuss it little bit so that you will be able to understand other hormones very clearly. So this is hypothalamic pituitary portal system. So the signal is basically the everything is controlled from the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus sends messages to the pituitary, which control the remaining all glands, or you can say hormones. So this is the pituitary hormone which release follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Getting my point? So then there is the prolactin hormone. There is a functioning of prolactin hormone, that uh, after 2-3 hours of sleep and continues, when the level of prolactin increase during pregnancy, during exercise, during stress. So these all are the functions of prolactin. I will not discuss it right now. You have to read it by your own self. Then we have the growth hormones. So if there is any abnormalities in the growth hormones, it will lead to dwarfism, it will lead to gangetism, it will lead to acromegaly. So it is because of all the hormones which are under the control of pituitary basically, pituitary gland basically. So dwarfism is when there is the decreased secretion of hormone. Gangetism is when there is excess secretion of the hormone. So these growth hormones are also under the control of pituitary gland. Then we have thyroid hormone, we have steroid hormones. We have to discuss all these hormones in detail. So I will not cover these in right now, but I will make the separate PPT for it. Then in the posterior lobe we have two main hormones. We have aldosterone and we have oxytocin. There are two main hormones which are synthesized in the posterior pituitary. We have ADH, which is known as vasopressin, and we have oxytocin. So what's the functioning of this ADH or vasopressin? This has two functions, one on the kidney and the other on the vascular smooth muscle. So these actions are mediated by different receptors, different intracellular mechanisms and different second messengers. So we have ADH, which is also known as antidiuretic hormone. What is the functioning of this ADH? This ADH is to increase the water permeability of the cells. So this ADH or vasopressin, it increases the water permeability of the cell in the kidneys, DST or distal tubule and collecting ducts. So when there is the limitation in the body, when the water is deficient in the body, what will happen? This ADH increase water permeability of the cells, allow more water to be reabsorbed by the ducts and makes the urine more concentrated. So when there is a deficiency of water in the body, then what will happen? This ADH will reabsorb the water from the in the kidneys, in the collecting ducts basically. Then we have some abnormalities of ADH also, that if the ADH is not working properly during the diabetes, then what will happen? there is excessive urination and even thirst also. Then we have oxytocin. Oxytocin is basically milk ejecting hormone which is there in the mother during the pregnancy. So we have the milk ejecting hormone which is known as oxytocin. And also this oxytocin causes powerful rhythmic contractions of the uterine muscle during the when the mother is giving birth. At that time this helps in the uterine muscle contractions basically. So it plays an important role in parturition. Okay. So these are again the same thing. We have neurotransmitter, endocrine, neurocrines, paracrines, autocrines and cytokines. I will share this PPT with all of you. Kindly go through the PPT and let me know if you have any problem. Okay, similarly we have again oxytocin. So I am just going to share this PPT with all of you and you have to tell me if you have any query or question. Then I will, help you all. So up to now, is it clear to all of you? Let me share this PPT also. I hope this is clear to all of you because we have just touched the important hormones which are there in our body, and of course we have to discuss the steroid hormone. But let me know up to it. Is it clear? So just give me 5 to 10 minutes. I will send this PPT in the Telegram and you have to keep it by your own self. Okay, you have to revise it by your own self and then let me know if you have any query or questions. Okay, so I'm sorry I want to take 2 hours session today, but because of some work I am not able to. But tomorrow, please note the timings for tomorrow. Tomorrow I will take your class from 11 p.m. Getting my point. Tomorrow we will try to take your class by 11 p.m. 11 to 1 p.m. So be ready tomorrow because I want to cover important topics. Oh, sorry. Okay, so be ready with it. Is it clear to all of you? Tomorrow we will try to meet at 11 p.m. or by 12 p.m. I will let you know. हेलो सर मैं क्लास में हूँ मैं करती हूँ आपको कॉल मेरी क्लास में हूँ हाँ 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 बस बिल्कुल ओके ओके oh sorry I'm really sorry I'm really sorry by 11 a.m. I'm really sorry Modita I'm really sorry. So we will try to take the class in the early morning by 11 a.m. because after lunch all become so much lazy. I also feel so much lazy that I am unable to take 2 hour session. So I will take it before lunch. I hope you all will understand and being there with me. So till then take care of yourself. Yeah, sorry, Sadhan. I'm really sorry. Because after lunch it becomes so heavy and it's very difficult for me also to take the class after lunch, but I will try to take it before lunch so that you will be free in the evening and I will take my another class in the evening. So that's all from my side. Please take care of yourself. If you have any query or questions, please let me know. And I think I didn't give you any homework today. I will give you one homework. You have to answer the functioning of, like the very first question which I told you before, the functioning of dopamine, serotonin, है ना? These all I tell you 4 compounds, so you have to tell me the functioning of all those in detail. In detail. So till then, take care of yourself, enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend. We will meet soon, definitely. So take care all. Bye bye from my side. Bye bye. Take care. हाँ जी क्या हाँ जी एम पी तो क्लास ही नहीं लग रही। आज तो भाई अभी तो उसकी रात को है। कोई बात नहीं, जब आज अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम आएगी फिर करना, आज मेरा नेट ठीक चल रहा है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगी उनको। कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं, ठीक चल रहा है आज मैं सारे, अरे सारे बच्चे, मैं आपको स्क्रीन शॉट भेजूँ, मैसेज के हंस रहे हैं, स्माइली भेज रहे हैं, मैं आपको दिखा देती हूँ जो मेरा अभी कलेक्टेड था। जेनेटिक्स कल हमने यूट्यूब पे तो ली थी, यूट्यूब में लिंक तो है उस पर। चलो मैं अभी डाल देती हूँ, दोबारा डालती हूँ, हमने क्या, हमने तो पढ़ाया, मैं अभी डाल देती हूँ, अभी कर देती हूँ। अभी कोई टाइम चेंज नहीं किया, एमपीपीटी की 9 बजे ही है। जेनेटिक्स की 8 की, पौने 8 की बजाय 7:30 या पौने 8 ही लूँगी, अभी कुछ चेंज नहीं हुआ, सारा कुछ ये बायोकेमिस्ट्री की। अरे बिल्कुल उसी टाइम पे है सर, देखो मेरे, मैं तो खुद ही आज 4:15 होनी थी, मैं 4:20 पे मैंने स्टार्ट किया था, अभी तो भी 5:30 तक चली है वो क्लास मेरी। तो बिल्कुल सारा टाइम पे चल रहा है, आप वरी मत करो, कुछ भी नहीं है, सब कुछ ठीक है, ये कोई एक आध बच्चा जान के करता ही होता है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। हाँ